Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the NFL season to begin. Welcome inside the Janitor's Closet for what always is a special episode, week one, best bets of the NFL. My name is Bryce Hunt, and the man sitting to my left, your right, famously had over 15,000 folks tailing his NFL picks after hitting 11 straight. Is that right? 11 straight, Josh,
That was
to
special.
open up the 2023 season.
That was
Am I
special.
reading that right?
That was correct, man. That was
All right,
special.
okay. Well, listen. Let me tell you this little something about Mr. Josh Fries. I'm here, folks. He stacked nearly 40 units on the gridiron the past two seasons. He's got no intentions of slowing down. He is the Bo Nix of winning picks, the
Woo!
Romeo Dobbs of beating the odds, the Sean
Woo!
McVay of hitting parlays,
Goodness.
Malik Neighbors of stacking paper. Josh, should I go on, sir? Talk to the people. Tell them how you're feeling this season. Get them going.
You kidding me? Golly, man. That's an intro and a half, dude. That's an intro and a half, man. I gotta.
Some laundry on the play there.
Holy, that's crazy, dude. Man, I'm fired up, dude. NFL is here. Yeah, man. We've had a little bit of a we've had a nice run, which has been nice, but we've also had a nice run on the gridiron or on the diamond with
Mm.
yourself. And we're not done in the MLB season, so people need to make sure if they haven't been tailing your picks to tail those. But man, yes, NFL season's here. We got both of us working the lines here on the gridiron and the diamond here, and this is the greatest time of the year right now, man, as we get into peak sports season. So ready to rock here, and let's have a good season, man. Let's get rolling on this.
Yes, sir. And if you're new here, welcome. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you. We're going to be giving you free picks on YouTube all NFL season. And some of these folks already have these picks, and that's because they are subscribed to our free newsletter, which you can find in the description of video. Get these picks right when Josh sends them out. You'll be the first one to have them before any of these lines move, before anyone else gets these plays. You can subscribe to that newsletter for free. You can follow us on X at TJC Bets. Yeah, Josh, we have two plays today for week one. They're both 2 units. We waited all summer, for this NFL season. Let's waste no more time. Let's get into our first play of the season. We're gonna have some AFC North action here for both of these plays.
Yeah.
Let's look at the one dealing with two teams in the division.
Yeah, so we're going to go Cincinnati taking a visit to the Cleveland Browns here. And this is a teaser. We're going to go Cleveland Browns plus 11. We're also taking the over 41 and a half, as you mentioned, for 2 units there, Bryce. Listen, this is a divisional game, so I don't see it getting out of hand week one here. Love the Cleveland Browns with Joe Flacco at the helm here. I think he's going to be able to manage the game. And the Browns, the last time Joe Flacco was the quarterback of the Browns, they were not afraid to sling the rock. They were slinging it 40 plus times a game. David Njoku was loving life. Jerry Jeudy was doing his thing. It will be doing his thing as well. Cedric Tillman obviously is going to be is another guy over there. So they got plenty of weapons there over in Cleveland to be able to take advantage of what is a very weak Cincinnati Bengals defense. A couple of things that I look at this one, Bryce. This Cleveland Browns, although they're not completely void of talent, this is it's not a great team top to bottom. This is a very gettable defense. So the Cincinnati Bengals high-powered offense is going to have, I don't think, any trouble moving the ball in this one. But at the same time, you have on the Cincinnati Bengals defense side of things, you've got a couple of things to look for. I mean, this defense in the preseason was god awful, and they were playing backups. That's something to be concerned about. Now, of course, they're going to have Trey Hendrickson here playing in this game, who just is recently paid. I wonder if he plays the entire game. I think he will probably play the entire game, but there is something to be said about maybe since he did miss all of training camp, maybe he doesn't play every single defensive snap in this game. So I think that's worth noting as well. But nevertheless, he is paid. But at the same time, which does boost their defense, but he's only one man in an 11-man show here on the defensive side of the ball. You got Al Golden calling his first NFL game as a defensive coordinator. And now I think Al Golden could do good things on the defensive side of the ball for the Cincinnati Bengals long term. But when you're talking about him playing his first game, going up against a Kevin Stefanski called offense, Joe Flacco going up against two veterans there on the opposite side of the ball, it's not necessarily going to be easy, especially when he's calling a game for a unit that is very much lacking talent in that Cincinnati Bengals defense. big thing here. If you follow the NFL in any capacity, you probably heard by now about the Cincinnati Bengals offense and how a lot of people Cincinnati historically gets off to slow starts, but not a lot of people are buying into that this season because the Cincinnati Bengals and I'm not buying into that either. I'm buying into the fast start, rhetoric that's kind of been coming out with this team this off season. And that is basically because of Joe Burrow, the quarterback, most important guy at the helm here, hasn't had to deal with outside noise. His first season, it's just being a rookie, right, and getting accustomed to the NFL. Since then, it's been either injuries, it's been contract talks, it's been this, that, and the other. There's been noise in his offseason. This is the first offseason where Joe Burrow has been able to go about his business, a healthy offseason, and hit the ground running. They've got T. Higgins locked up. They've got Jamar Chase locked up. They've got their weapons. Chase Brown is there as well. They got plenty of weapons from top to bottom on that offense side of the ball in order to move the ball. And I think that there is a legit urgency on the Bengals offense side of the ball to make sure that they're hitting the ground running. And you saw that because they were playing all their starters in preseason. That doesn't happen usually for Cincinnati. So there is an emphasis for this team to hit the ground running on offense. In saying that, I don't see this one, although the Cincinnati Bengals offense is the best unit going to take the football field in this game on Sunday. They're not going to be able to, they're not going to run away with this game. And that's why I like the +11 for Cleveland. The last thing I'll mention in this game here, Bryce, last year, week 16, these two teams played, and this number for these teams closed at 45.5. Okay, that was the total in this game. The quarterbacks in the game was Joe Burrow and then a guy by the name of Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You might remember. That game was also only 31 degrees Fahrenheit at kickoff. Okay, so we're talking about a cold game with DTR at the helm, and it was a shade under what this total is at. So you're telling me that we get fair weather, Joe Flacco at the helm, fully healthy squads here, and this number is just a tick above that. Yeah, that's why I love the over in this game straight up, but we're going to protect ourselves a little bit here, and I love the teaser option here. 2 units, Cleveland +11, over 41.5. That's how we're starting our Sunday.
All right, well, we're going to start our season with the teaser. Let me ask you something, Josh. Are you a fan of drama at all?
Love drama, man. Of course. Who doesn't love drama?
Well, listen, I got a game for you because Pittsburgh and the New York Jets, Justin Fields against his old team, Aaron Rodgers, a guy that's near and dear to your heart, against his old team, albeit for 2 seasons. They're going to square off in what should be a pretty interesting game as both quarterbacks look for a little bit of revenge. Where are we going here?
Yeah, this should be a grinded out kind of game here. There might be some weather in the forecast here, some little bit of rain in the forecast potentially in this game, which could make for a little bit of an uglier one. Run the football just the way the Pittsburgh Steelers like it. We got the Steelers traveling to MetLife to take on the New York Jets, and as you mentioned, Bryce, Aaron Rodgers taking on former team and Justin Fields taking on former team. I think there's a little bit more motivation for Justin Fields in this spot, just given the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of told him, essentially, you're not the future of our franchise, even though we might have thought to be that at one point in time. So Fields ends up as the QB1 over there in New York. I don't necessarily think Aaron Rodgers is pulling into this game with a chip on his shoulder per se, but this is his last dance. This is the last ride for Aaron Rodgers. So I think that's enough motivation for him to want to obviously go out on a bang with this Pittsburgh Steelers team this year. Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5 for 2 units. We're taking the road chalk in this one. And listen, it's pretty simple for me here, Bryce. Pittsburgh Steelers are just the better team. It's just as simple as that. Aaron Rodgers, we need him to not hurt us, and I am confident he's going to do that. We don't need Aaron Rodgers to be dominant necessarily. We've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers win 7-8 games with Mason Rudolph at the helm. There's absolutely no reason why this Pittsburgh Steelers team can't go make noise with Aaron Rodgers at the helm here. You've got a defense in Pittsburgh that is going to be down Derek Harmon. I'm not as worried about that, the rookie defensive tackle. Outside of that, You're gonna and Nick Herbig is questionable at this point, but I'm confident he's gonna play. Outside of that, you've got your T.J. Watt, you've got your Alex Highsmith, you've got your this veteran, but a veteran, but a very still talented secondary there. Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, right? You Joey Porter Jr., who are going to all be playing on the back end here. This is a defense that people need to be getting excited about. That's going to be solid once again. And then on the opposite side of the ball, you've got your DK Metcalf and Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, Pat Freiermuth. They got a trio of tight ends that they're going to be using in this game. The other thing with here, Bryce, it's going to play in big. The Jets are all of a sudden dealing with some injuries on the offensive side, on both sides of the ball. Elijah Vera Tucker has suffered a really serious injury. That is huge going up against this Pittsburgh Steelers front. You're talking about a guy in Justin Fields who needs the time to get in rhythm, to deliver the ball to Garrett Wilson, who's maybe his only viable target here on the offensive side of the ball outside of his running backs. You talk about that. I mean, that's a huge advantage for the Pittsburgh Steelers with a banged up New York Jets offensive line. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Sauce Gardner is also dealing all of a sudden with an injury here to his fibula. And I'm not necessarily writing Sauce Gardner off for this game at this point, but when you're talking about, we're recording on a Wednesday, and when you're talking about an injury popping up on a Wednesday like this, I mean, that's never good when you're talking about it coming up midweek like this. That is obviously, puts his status in question for this game. So if you're talking about literally one of the best players on the offense side of the ball and one of their best players, if not the best player on the defensive side of the ball, both potentially and likely going to be out for this game. I mean, you're and a New York Jets team that, kind of needs all the help that they can get with Justin Fields at the helm here. I like our chances for Pittsburgh here. So we're taking the road chalk. We just need him to win by a field goal in this one, man. I think it's going to be, both teams they're going to stay within striking distance. I don't see this being a runaway victory for Pittsburgh by any means. Just again, due to the nature of how these teams are going to want to play the game, it's going to be bleed the clock, run the football, work off play action in that respect. So I don't expect a track meet by any means. But in the end, I think the better team comes out on top here in the season opener. So we're going Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5 for 2 units.
All right, so 2-2-unit plays to open up our season. As always, should Josh see something Saturday, Sunday early that he wants to add to the slate, that'll come out on X at TJC Bets and in the newsletter, which you can subscribe to for free in the description of this video. Josh, what do you say we grab a pair of dubs here and head into week 2?
That'd be special, man. Let's start it off right here. I'm itching, man. Let's get to it.
Let's do it. It's finally here, folks. Happy football season. We appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week. Take it easy.
Yeah.